Hello everyone, I am Joel Nazarino, and here I am going to present y'all the stakeholder evaluation part of my decision making scenario, which focuses on whether or not the small cafe which I'm the manager of should switch from using plastic packaging to eco-friendly packaging. The decision may sound simple at first, which is mainly just changing package materials, but it's actually quite difficult considering that it involves several ethical, financial, and social considerations. Every choice the cafe makes has an effect to different groups of people and the environment. That's why evaluating the stakeholders for this decision making is a very important step in making like any responsible and ethical decisions. For this discussion, I'll be identifying the four main stakeholders of this decision, which are one, the customers, two, the employees, and three, the environment, and four, the local community. First, let's start with the customers. Customers overall play a major role in the cafe success. They are the people who experience the main direct results of this decision, considering from how are the foods are going to be packaged, and then to also how they are going to perceive the business's values. Once a cafe decides to switch to the eco-friendly packaging, the customers are most likely to notice two main things on those changes. The first would be the cafe is taking a responsible, sustainable approach, and then the second would be that there might be a small increase in prices to cover the higher costs and eco-friendly materials. From an ethical point of view, this change can create a positive customer perception. More consumers today are becoming mainly environmentally conscious. They value sustainability and tend to support brands that make responsible choices. By switching to the eco-friendly packaging, the cafe will eventually build a stronger relationship with customers who share these values. Despite of that, though, there are some concerns. A few customers will be hesitant due to the price of their favorite drinks or whatever they order for their meals. They will increase slightly, considering that's just the nature of eco-friendly packaging. They tend to cost more than the usual products, but it's just a natural reaction because the cost is what matters the most for when you're trying to spend like any products. But overall, the majority of the customers, they would love to appreciate the cafe's commitment to helping the planet. They would even feel proud to support a business that values sustainability, which turns them into loyal repeat customers. The second part would be the employees. The employees are the ones who will be implementing the new packaging system on a daily basis. For this eco-friendly packaging, though, they have to adapt to the new materials, which means they have to learn new handling or disposable procedures, and also have to maintain that consistency to align with the cafe sustainability goals. There are two sides the employees will view for this change. For the positive side, many of the employees will likely feel proud to work for a cafe that is, of course, socially and environmentally responsible, considering it gives them a sense of purpose and pride, knowing that their workplace is contributing to the environmental sustainability. Having this kind of work culture will improve motivation, morale, and teamwork, considering especially when the employees understand the bigger purpose behind the change. But on the other hand, there may be short-term concerns. S- when you're switching to the eco-friendly packaging, it would mean like there would be increased work adjustments. They would even have to learn how to store materials differently, or change how the orders are packed. Some of these employees might initially see this as extra effort or stress. However, if they're trained properly with open communication from the management, these concerns can easily be addressed. When employees understand why the change matters, not just to the business but also to the planet, they are more likely to support it wholeheartedly. Next is the environment. It's arguably the most important stakeholder for this decision. The environment, it cannot speak for itself, but it is the one that is the most affected by our actions around the planet. Plastic packaging, while despite being cheap and convenient, it causes long-term harm. It pollutes the oceans, the clogs, landfills, and it also, worst of all, endangers wildlife. Once our cafe switches to eco-friendly packaging, it will take a direct stand against these harmful effects. This choice, it will help reduce waste, promotes recycling, and also lowers the cafe's overall carbon footprint. The change might be small, considering the cafe is like just one decision. It could definitely convert to a much larger impact. Every single business that reduce plastic waste, they all play a part in improving the overall environmental health, which can also protect the future generations. So, from an ethical perspective, all of this reflects the environmental stewardship, which is the idea that we have a moral responsibility to protect and preserve the planet. So in this case, the environment benefits greatly from the cafe's choice, and this stakeholders' outcome is overall positive. Now for the last stakeholder, it's the community, which are the people who live around the cafe and interact with it regularly. Communities today are becoming more aware of the environmental issues, especially in the urban areas where plastic waste becomes a growing problem. That's also the same case for in Davos City, where the waste has risen from 700 to 800 tons per day, starting from late 2024 to early 2025. But when a small cafe takes this initiative to use eco-friendly packaging, it can also help inspire other small businesses to do the same. When this happens, it creates a ripple effect. The cafe can set an example of a social responsibility, and others may follow. The decision can also enhance the cafe's reputation, to show that it cares more than just profit. It can lead to stronger customer support, better community relations, and even partnerships with local environmental groups or suppliers. From the community's perspective, the cafe overall becomes a positive influence, not only serving good food and coffee, but also promoting environmental awareness. The community will likely support and commend the cafe for making a responsible and sustainable choice that benefits everyone. To conclude for the stakeholder evaluation, so the customers, they will appreciate the cafe's sustainability, even if the prices will rise slightly, because the cafe overall values very eco-friendly businesses. The employees, they will adapt and may also feel more motivated, knowing that they will contributing to something more meaningful. For the environment, it will gain the most from this decision, because of less plastic waste, lower pollution, and also better long term ecological balance. And lastly, the community also benefits from this socially, which helps them gain pride in supporting a local business that's doing the right thing. Ultimately, all this evaluation shows that the cafe's decision to switch to eco-friendly packaging is ethically sound, socially responsible, and environmentally beneficial. There may be short-term costs or adjustments for this decision, but the long-term impact is what's clearly positive for like all the stakeholders that are involved for this decision. To conclude all of this, the stakeholder evaluation demonstrates how the ethical business decisions can create value not only for the company, but for everyone it touches, its customers, its employees, the community, and the environment. Making decisions like this is very good ethics and good business, which can help go in hand. So that's it for the stakeholders evaluation. Now here is the decision justification. So for this part, I will discuss to you about like being the manager of this small cafe, but like to help to justify on why this decision is worth it. But it's not just a business choice; it was an ethical and environmental one. My goal for this is to balance costs, responsibility, and sustainability while making sure the cafe's decision reflected our values and long-term goals. I decided to switch to eco-friendly packaging for for this process, and like I'll explain why it not only just benefits economically but also ethically and socially. The first would be that it aligns with the sustainability goals. Our cafe overall wants to focus on providing products that are not only enjoyable but also responsible. Products that don't contribute to pollution or waste. By using degradable or recycling packaging, we will take a proactive step towards reducing environmental harm. Plastic packaging, while despite being cheaper, overall unfortunately has a harmful effect on the environment. This ends up with landfills and oceans. It also harms wildlife, which also contributes to global pollution. On the other hand, eco-friendly packaging supports a circular economy, one that reuses resources and also reduces waste. This decision shows that sustainability is not just a marketing idea, but a core principle guiding our business actions. We are thinking beyond the short-term profit and focusing on a long-term impact, which is not just for our cafe but also for our customers and the planet overall. Next would be the commitment to the corporate social responsibility. In short terms, the CSR. It's about taking responsibility for how a business affects the society and the environment. As for our cafe, this means that we recognize having a duty to operate ethically, not just to earn profit, but to contribute positively to our community. Well, as we switch to eco-friendly packaging, the cafe will demonstrate leadership and accountability. We're not waiting for environmental regulations to force us to act as responsibly. We are taking the initiative. This act shows the transparency, the care, and responsibility, which qualifies for today's consumers' respect. It also strengthens our brand reputation and builds trust, showing that our cafe values more than just the financial gain. It also values ethical integrity. For this decision, we are serving a purpose, one cup and one package at a time. Now, next part is the long-term business value. So at first glance, eco-friendly packaging might seem a lot more expensive, but when we look beyond the picture of that short term, it actually provides a greater long term business value. We'll break it down to this. Customers today are now more aware and concerned about the environmental issues. Many even prefer to buy from brands that act sustainably. So for this, we adopt the eco-friendly packaging, which builds brand loyalty and customer trust, that are far more valuable than short-term cost savings. Over time, this trust will eventually translate to repeat customers, word of mouth promotion, and a positive community perception. To add to this, using sustainable materials can also prepare the cafe for any future government policies that may restrict or tax plastic use. By transitioning early, the cafe avoids future penalties and positions itself as the leader of sustainability. To put it this in short terms, the financial cost today is an investment in long term stability and growth. Next would be the ethical and moral considerations. So ethical decision making means doing what is right, even when it's not the easiest or cheapest option. So from an ethical standpoint, continuing to use plastic would be choosing convenience over conscience. Eco-friendly packaging, meanwhile, reflects care for the environment, empathy for the future generations, and also respect for the community values. This decision overall aligns with the utilitarian principle, which means acting in a way that produces the greatest good for the greatest number. By choosing sustainability, we protect the environment, support our customers' values, and inspire positive community change. This also aligns with the moral integrity, which is the ability to make decisions guided by principles rather than pressure. The cafe's leadership shows that profit should never come at the cost of the planetary well-being. Next is the practical and social impacts. So for this, the cafe will need to train the employees to adapt to new packaging materials and procedures. This transition will take a lot of effort, but eventually it will create a culture of awareness and environmental consciousness among staff. Socially, this decision overall sends a strong yes message. It tells the customers and the community that our cafe stands for something, that we care about sustainability and we are willing to act on it. This also aligns with our goal with a growing global movement towards the responsible consumption. It also opens opportunities to collaborate with other eco-friendly suppliers, join community cleanup initiatives, or even influence other small businesses to make similar changes. Every small action to this adds up. Each step by step, our cafe will become part of the solution, not the problem. Now, to conclude all of this, the decision to switch to eco-friendly packaging perfectly aligns with the cafe's ethical, environmental, and social responsibilities. It shows that our cafe values sustainability over convenience and also responsibility over the short-term savings. So through this decision, we will solve it in these short terms. We reduce the environmental harm. We also strengthen our social image. We also build customer trust, and we also inspire positive change within our community. So for this, it isn't just a business move, it's a statement of our values and our vision. It's the saying that we care about our planet, we care about our customers, and we care about doing what's right. That is all for the decision justification. Now the last part, it would be my reflection. This is for my ethical decision making experience, to show what I've learned about about how sustainability influenced the responsible choices, and whether or not I would make the same decision in the future. It would help understand not just the practical side of the business ethics, but also the personal values and mindset that will guide responsible leadership. So, for the first question of this, what did I learn about the ethical decision making? From this experience, I learned that ethical decision making is not always about choosing what's easiest or most profitable. It's about doing what's right and responsible and being responsible, even when it involves challenges or higher costs. At first, eco-friendly packaging seemed like a small technical decision, but like I start realizing that it has much deeper ethical implications. It meant weighing the short-term financial costs against the long-term social and environmental impact. These ethical decisions often require us to balance three key factors, which are one, profit, two, the people, and three, the planet. It taught me that being a good leader should think beyond personal or business gain and consider how every choice affects others, which also includes the employees, the customers, and the environment. Overall, this process strengthened my awareness that ethical leadership is about integrity and accountability. Every decision becomes a reflection of one's values and the kind of example you want to set for others, especially if it's your friends, your customers, or the other clients whenever you do your business or other activities. Now, the second question is, how does sustainability influence responsible choices? So, for this, sustainability plays a major role in guiding my decision for the eco-friendly packaging. It made me realize that making responsible choices should always consider long-term effects rather than short-term convenience. Sustainability will push us to ask these certain questions. How will this decision affect future generations? Will it harm or help the environment? These are the main questions that people should consider asking themselves whenever they do a sustainability goal. By switching to eco-friendly packaging, the cafe not only supports its customers, but also it helps preserve resources for tomorrow. That's the overall essence of the sustainable thinking. You have to act in a way that benefits both the present and the future. This experience showed me that sustainability is not just an environmental issue; it's a moral one. It encourages responsibility, mindfulness, and a genuine respect for the world we live in. Once sustainability becomes a part of a business identity, it will transform every decision into an opportunity to make a positive impact towards not just the business, but also the customers, the community, and most importantly, the environment overall. Considering that's our home, and like we have to take care of our planet, considering it's our home, and like once it's not taken care of properly, we might even lose it, including our lives. Now for the next question. So would I make the same decision again for when I encounter similar situations? Y- So for my answer for this, yes, I would definitely make the same decision again if I encounter similar situations like this. Even though eco-friendly packaging is overall more costly and it requires more adjustments compared to the normal products, the long-term benefits far outweigh the short-term costs. This decision has overall long-lasting positive effects. It strengthens the cafe's reputation, builds customer trust, it empowers the employees, and most importantly, it also helps protect the environment. Making this choice again whenever I encounter it in the future, it would reflect the same value of sustainability, ethical responsibility, and the community care that I've always learned to prioritize when I do ethical decision making for the cafe. This experience overall taught me that when faced with similar ethical challenges in the future, I should not only focus on convenience or cost, but rather what contributes most to the greater good for the business, for the people, and the planet overall. So to conclude for this reflection, it reminds me that ethical decision making and sustainability, they both go to hand in hand. The process of choosing eco-friendly packaging, it overall strengthened resolve to always make decisions that are not only good for the business, but also good for the society and the environment. It provides small changes, such as switching packaging materials, but despite that, it can create meaningful impacts when guided by the ethics and responsibility. To put all of this, to put all these thoughts in one line, it would be true ethical leadership is about making choices today that makes tomorrow better for everyone.